Welcome back to Magic Minute Dating 101.
Yes, we are going to channel our best Sex and the City impressions, characters, everything.
All of it.
All of it.
No Samantha around here.
No. But we're going to give you some advice and some stories that we have, and hopefully it'll be somewhat helpful.
It better be.
Yeah.
I'm not putting myself out here for nothing.
Tell us a little bit, because you had a month.
Oh my
Let's
God,
just put it that
you
way.
guys. So I had a month of dating like hilariousness. Now that it's a little bit further away, I can laugh about it. But okay, I met the first guy I went on a date with. Let me just preface this: all these are wonderful people.
You're very kind. You're very, very amazingly sweet for saying that.
So the first guy I went on a date with walked me home and told me he had a girlfriend. I was like blindsided, to be honest with you. The second guy, his ex-girlfriend showed up at our dinner table. The third guy, I was like, nothing else could possibly go wrong. The third guy invites me to a sound bath, which is like a music meditation. Really beautiful idea in theory. I show up, he comes late, and shows up with the hottest girl ever. Like, this is what your worst nightmares are made of.
No.
So then I had to meditate for 90 minutes, like not speaking.
Stayed. You're so good.
And then we had to pass around a rain stick and talk about our experience. I'm like, well, this is an interesting experience. I went through a variety of emotions.
Oh my God.
So the point was that was not a date. Like, I misinterpreted things, which I think is really important. For like, listen to your instincts about things.
Yes.
If something feels icky,
it's
off,
icky. If there's a
It
red
was icky,
flag,
but it was just like, yeah.
Yeah, if something feels strange, it probably is.
And if someone seems not that into you, they're not that into you.
Probably.
It was like also a really big takeaway. Like, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's much easier when people are direct about things, I think, than like the random text,
The
here and
wishy-washy.
there, from my experience. And so, like, listen to those red flags.
Yes, and so even if those red flags are in the versions of texts, or if someone is texting you hours after you text them or days after, and you're like, oh, but maybe he's helping his grandmother move.
No,
okay,
he more likely has a girlfriend or a wife.
Yeah, maybe, right? But exactly. So no need to justify away. If something feels off, it's off. Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. They're good. The next one is to stay true to yourself.
Yes.
Right? You know who you are, and I'm not saying that you can't, compromise or find new things or explore new things with a partner, but I have a friend who has wanted to get married since she was 5. I mean, collecting wedding dresses in a binder since she was 5 years old, meets a guy who doesn't believe in marriage, 1 month of dating, and suddenly she doesn't care about getting married.
Yeah.
I think, so stay true to who you are and be real about that. And that's okay, knowing that that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one I love is your body is your temple.
Yes.
So take care of it.
Yeah.
And be mindful of the decisions that you're making and make them with power. Like, this is a place to be empowered.
Absolutely. And part of that empowerment is also dressing like a goddess, right? So it's our bodies. We love them. Befriend them and put out your best self, right? When we feel really confident and good, outwardly, we can also change inwardly the energy we send out. Just the same way where when we work inwardly, it extends outwardly, it kind of works both ways.
Yeah, I learned a lot about this from the Babe Collective, who you should absolutely follow if you're not already.
Totally.
Next up, we have future tripping.
Beware of the future trip.
Have you ever heard about this before? I love this phrase so much.
It's so good. It means, right, when I'm going on a date for the very first time, it means I'm not going to take my first name and see if it works with his last name.
I thought this is what everyone did, to be honest.
You know what? I think everyone does do it. I think it's fun. It's fun. And it's not that helpful, though.
Yeah.
It places this expectation and this pressure that something has to happen, and that this is what our future will look like when the present hasn't started yet.
Yeah, I went out with this guy, and on our first date, he was telling me about the color of our future children's eyes. And, like, rather than run away, I ran straight towards it, a million miles. It was like a burning it's like a burning red flag. And I'm like, tell me more.
Like a little bug to the flame.
Where are we going to live? What am I going to wear? But I do think the future tripping is such an important one.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when those things, or eyes, they like blow up in flames.
Yeah, so just be careful. Be careful.
And move slowly, move at a normal pace too.
And see if you can enjoy the process of where you're at.
Yeah, but on that note too, try something new.
Yeah, do push yourself out there, right? Push yourself into something that's different, out of your comfort zone.
You never know who you'll meet by like showing up, even if it's a yoga class, which seems like really girly, or if it's you go rock climbing, like go do new things.
Yeah, and do things that you love, because chances are the people who are there also love it. So why not? That's fun.
Yeah.
You have a really great story of something you recently pushed yourself, and I was like, this
Yeah.
is awesome. You need to share
So
that.
I think I really think it's important sometimes to approach people and put yourself out there a little bit too. The main thing, and we touched on expectations earlier, is to not have any expectations leading in. So there was this really, really cute guy I met walking our dogs, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and so I left a little note after a glass of wine on his car. And honestly, I didn't really care if I heard from him. So, but the next morning, of course, I woke up and sprinted down the stairs, and then his car and the note were both gone, so my fate was completely sealed.
Yes.
But it was okay. It didn't really matter what the outcome was.
Yeah, see? I mean, kind of not attaching to having to something has to happen.
Yeah.
So fun and so different, and
It
why not?
It makes you really proud of yourself. So
Yeah.
those are our tips for surviving the dating world. We would love to hear from you.
Well, we want to hear your dating stories.
Uh-huh.
Things that have worked, things that have crashed and burned. We've all been there.
Yeah, so be in touch. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, single ladies and gents.
Magic in me, I got the magic, baby. Every time I touch that track, it turns into gold.